Welcome to MILF Ministry. My name is Ayodele. As you all see today, I have on some merch. This is one of the first pieces I ordered back in 2018 when I first launched the podcast. I need to actually update my merch website so that I can have more of the content that I have in mind and more of the merch that I have in mind to share with everyone. Today is a solo episode. And as I said earlier in the week, when I have solo episodes, I'm going to talk about music more. Music is something that kind of flows freely throughout me. And I've talked about music in previous episodes, but I'm going to make a more concerted effort to talk about music in the way that I see music, consume music, and this connection to my honey, just the overall honey flow. Today is a solo episode, as you see. And I think Amazon had an app called AMP, if my memory serves me correct. I hope I'm saying the name of the app right. But either way, they had an app where you could have your own radio show and, program and curate your own music and talk about it and play music that they authorized or they had already licensed. You didn't have to worry about getting any radio broadcast license. And I remember being excited about this because I love music so much and I love talking about music so much that I was actually going to start my radio show before I relaunched my podcast. I outlined episodes, I had songs and playlists curated, and then the app shut down. So I don't know if that was the universe redirecting me to make sure that I relaunched my podcast properly. Because I can always talk about music on here, but I was just excited to talk about music and not feel the pressure of getting personal about just my emotions in general. But music is something that makes me emotional, and music is something that has been a part of my MILFhood, so to speak, because music has helped me to cry and release energy. Music has helped me to feel seen and to feel safe to be vulnerable. Music makes me laugh. Music brings me joy. Music brings me nostalgia. Like I have memories of certain songs literally teleport me back to certain moments in time. And music makes me feel tingly. Like I could be listening to music and a certain song could make me say, ooh, okay, well, now I'm in a certain kind of mood. Now I'm feeling a certain kind of way. So I think music is a natural extension of MILF Ministry anyway. I was just trying to talk about, my journey and dating and life and sex here on MILF Ministry and maybe future music from here to there. But as I think about myself and my own interests, I can talk about music all day, every day. So it's just kind of a natural fit for some of the solo episodes. And I'll probably play around with some of my playlists and talk to you guys about my favorite parts of certain songs and have some themed episodes of, I have all kinds of topics that we can get into of songs that have been influenced by other genres or artists that I think are influenced by other artists. And I just kind of want to create a musical universe, so to speak. And it's a solo episode, so we have time to just dive into some things. So today, rather than just throw you into my world universally, I think it's safe to start with what are some of my first musical memories. So if you've been listening to the podcast, you may have heard this before, but if this is one of your first episodes, welcome to MILF Ministry, and we're going to jump right on in. So the theme is honey for your spirit. That's always going to be a theme that you hear flowing through this episode. And I'm going to always be talking about doing things that just bring you joy in general. So music for me personally is a natural extension of that. So some of my first musical memories are Bob Marley and Sade. These are two artists that sonically, they're some of the first 4 years old, 5 years old. They're some of the first music memories that I have. Visually, Bob Marley is also one of the first visual, music memories that I have. The first song that I remember liking from Bob Marley was Bob Marley's "Steer It Up," and there's a live music version where he's playing the guitar and, to me, looking super cool, super swaggy, playing the bass line, singing the song, and he's trying to seduce a woman in the song. And I'm, like I said, the musical memory, I'm probably 4 or 5. So I don't know about love. I don't know about seduction, but what I do know is that the bass line is getting my attention. And just the way he looks and is, just kind of grooving. He's grooving. Reggae is a very groovy genre of music. Like it's definitely a vibe, just in general. So the bass line, doom, 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 doom. Like, I don't know why, but that bass line stuck with me. And he's swaying and singing, "Steer It Up." I won't sing. I promise y'all I'm going to try not to sing. At some point, I'm going to bring on singers to make my discussions of music more exciting. I'll bring on people that can actually sing. I will not torture you all with my personal vocals. But yeah, so the guitar is playing in the background and he's singing, and I'm just mesmerized, for lack of a better word. I'm just like, who is this? What is he doing? This looks cool. This looks interesting. This sounds interesting. It's just a memory that has stayed with me for over 40 years. Of just what it means to be a performer, what it means to catch someone's attention sonically, what it means to woo someone with the words, with your lyrics. Bob Marley is one of my first music memories. And the next artist, as I said, is Sade. So kind of like, I like to introduce these people as like, Bob Marley would be my musical father, Sade would be my musical mother, in terms of like artists that I love and artists that got my attention. So for Sade, I have a music memory of celebrating either my mother or father. I feel like we were celebrating my mother at some nice restaurant, and Sade's "Sweetest Taboo" was playing at the restaurant. And I need to go back and talk to my parents and find out like what we were celebrating or what was going on. But I just remember it was a mood, it was a vibe. So like my parents are dressed nicely, we're at a restaurant, out to eat, the lights are probably dim, and Sade's voice is just coming in, so I'm a kid and I'm like, ooh, this is fun. This is exciting. You know what I mean? This feels nice. So I learned to associate music with celebration, and music with happiness, and music with a good time, and also music with setting a mood. Because for whatever reason, hearing that song at that restaurant partnered with my parents celebrating something important, partnered with, like I said, the food was probably good, and the atmosphere. It just helped me connect the idea or the concept that music could set a mood. And I remember liking the sound of her voice, the tone of her voice. I remember liking that. And the drums, again, I just always, like, anytime a song has that little, I call it a drum skip. I don't know what it's called musically properly. And if someone knows, drop in the comments of what that dooch, dooch, dooch. I think it's a 6/8 rhythm, Anyway, that's probably why, joke, I always end up dating someone that works in music, or always having a good vibe with musicians, because I just love the sound of music, for lack of a better word. It sounds weird to say, but I live for a good bass line. I live for a good drum line. I just live for it. And I love for the syncopation. So I love to hear how the drums blend with the guitar, blend with the piano, blend with the vocals. something about that marriage sounds like magic to me. It's very African, having a syncopated bass line is very African. And so, I don't know. Long story short, that's one of my first musical memories. And it's another song that it just has a mood and it has layers, and her vocals sound just very interesting, and her sonically it takes you on a journey. Lyrically, it takes you on a journey, because I'm like, the sweetest taboo. I probably was too young to even understand what taboo meant, what she was talking about, but it just sounded like she was telling a story. It sounded interesting. It sounded, I guess, emotional. Like, it sounded like there was some energy going on. And I just remember being drawn into that. And I think this is important because as I am maturing and I am a mother, I start to think about what sounds I want to introduce my daughter to, like what songs I like. Like, one thing I've been doing, especially since she's been about 12, is, man, when I was 12, this was my favorite song. And asking her, what does she like? Like, what are you listening to right now? And some of the things that I like from the 90s, she has her own 90s playlist. I'm a big, big, big hater because she's got way more songs than I do from the 90s on her list. And I'll be hearing her in the shower screaming to H-Town, Knocking the Boots, or Janet Jackson or something. And I'm just like, I didn't even put that on your playlist. How did, but once you introduce your children to music, then they start to search and discover more things. And I remember one time we were talking and I was telling her that I loved, I think it was SWV Rain. And she was playing the interlude version from the album, which is a slower version, which sounds really good. Or maybe it wasn't Rain. Maybe it was Use Your Heart. It was Use Your Heart. And I love that song. But she was playing me a different version from the album, a slower interlude version or something. And I'm like, not you putting me on to versions of the song from my time. I love it, but I hate it because I'm a hater. Just got to let it be known. So I'm like, long story short, at some point I'll have her on the show and we'll talk about our love of music together. And we may even have a 90s R&B battle. But it just got me to thinking about how important music is intergenerationally, like passing it down, of like what music. I will tell her, like, these are the songs that your grandparents liked. Then telling her, like, oh, Nana loved Anita Baker and Papa loved Steel Pulse and Bob Marley and just all these different artists that I would hear growing up, and letting her know the music that I loved from my parents and passing that on to her, but also letting her know the music that I loved. And hearing what she likes, what do you like? So I'll play a song and I'll be like, okay, if I was a DJ and I wanted to mix this record, give me a Brent Faiyaz song or something like that. And I try to challenge her to give me a song that she thinks will sound good with maybe a Cut Close record from the 90s or something like that. Because I think it's very important to listen to your children and understand why they like certain artists and introduce them to music. At least for me, I think it's just very fun to see what they like and what moves them. It's funny because she has seen my musical journey, especially like post-divorce, because she was more, by the time we got divorced, I think my daughter was 6. And so the journey goes like this. A lot of SZA, a lot of HER, basically sad, crying, all these songs I'm playing over and over again. Against her will, she's like, oh my gosh, you're repeating the SZA song? You're repeating the HER song? I'm like, sure am. I got to hear it one more time, as I'm driving her to school or driving her back from school. And then at some point, a few months later, I start to play Afrobeat. Because there's a shift. There's been a purge. I've done some grieving. I've done some crying. I've done some releasing. And now I'm ready to live life and party and enjoy myself. And it's funny because I remember the time. Like, it was around my birthday, November 2017, where I was like, I have filed all my paperwork. I'm ready to date. I'm ready to have sex. I'm ready to just move on with my life. I'm ready to party. And party I did. I partied from then all the way up until the pandemic, till the world shut down. And Afrobeat was a big, big part of that. So then it's like WizKid and techno and Burna Boy and just party, party, party. nonstop partying. And I don't know if she likes Afrobeat as much now, because once again, back then she didn't have a choice. She's definitely an R&B girly to this day. And now the artists, like, she'll come home and I'll be playing something new, like a new song that we both like is K-Win Kaylani Worst Behavior. So one day when the song first dropped, she came home from school and I'm playing it and she's like, okay, Mom, like, I'm like, yeah, this song is fire. I like it, So it's fun to kind of see what new songs come out that she likes and I also like, because I feel like music is a journey and it's just fun to share music, especially with your children. So going back to music memories, the next thing I want to share with you all is one of the first love songs I remember just really, really loving. And for me, one of the first love songs that I loved on my own, I was probably like about 12 years old, because I have a memory of being in like 7th grade. So I would have been in Nashville, Tennessee. And the song for me was You Send Me Swinging by Mint Condition. Stokely, your vocals, the band. Dun, 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 dun. I'll wait for the day. I told you I wasn't going to sing, but you gotta do that intro, and that the song gets your attention immediately. But what really does it for me, outside of the hook, You Send Me Swinging, and them singing it, is the second chorus when I'm with you, I fall deeper in love, and he starts screaming, this feeling. That part, when Stokely hits those notes, I still didn't know what love is at 12, but I believed him. And I hope that whoever he was singing to believed him as well. Okay? Because he was swinging. He was swinging vocally when he hit those notes. And I think it's just another indicator that I'm just attracted to emotion. I'm attracted, like, I want to feel something when I hear the song. And that's one of the first times where I'm like, oh man, like, he's really singing. He's really singing and he's really swinging over this person. And I just remember tapping into that energy and just liking it for myself. And it wasn't a sad love song of like, oh baby, I broke your heart, I'll never do it again. It was just like, no, I'm rocking with you and I like you and you send me swinging. And I'm sure of it. Like, I like you, I love you, and my heart's waiting for the joyful sound. Like, it was just a positive love song that was full of life, full of energy. And I just remember really, really, really liking that and playing that over and over again back in the day. And I'm going to try to keep these solo episodes shorter until I get more engagement, because I think it will be more entertaining for me to talk and give you my feedback, and to also hear like, okay, well, what's one of the first love songs you remember? And as an audience person, you can comment, my goal will be to keep some of my solo episodes shorter until I have more engagement and feel comfortable really actually doing live episodes and engaging with you all and asking you what is your favorite song and you telling me what your favorite song is, and us sharing in that moment of what got your attention and what part of the song made you really, really excited. Because, as I said before, yeah, you can have a favorite song, but what part of the song does it for you? You know what I mean? Like, I really like to know that. I like to know what part of a song does it for someone. Because I like to tell somebody my favorite part of a song. And it's weird and it's quirky, but it matters. For example, my daughter saw Masego live in Oakland because she was there for the summer with her aunt and uncle. And she recorded Masego's song Mystery Lady, but not the regular version. There's a Sego's mixed version that's a little bit slower. And he's like, someone fetch me my apron. I'm finna cook. Like, I like that part of the song. And she recorded my favorite part of the song. So long story short, it's nice to have a favorite part of the song and someone to know your favorite part of the song and record it and send it to you. So I like that was a nice musical moment between me and my daughter that, you know, we can share together because you know someone's favorite song and you know their favorite part of the song. And it's cool when you go to a concert and the artist performs your favorite part of the song, which that's a whole other thing I want to get into. Tangent. Dear artists, I know the songs are your songs, okay? And I want to respect your artistry. So let me start by saying that. However, when you all record a song a certain way, you have no idea how excited we are to hear our favorite part of the song. It may be old to you, and you may want to get on stage and change it up and get excited. And we want you to do that. We want you to change it up. We want you to be creative. But we still came to the concert because we had our favorite part of the song. So I don't know if there's a customer service number or some kind of market research that needs to be done, but I need artists to be tapped in to what people's parts of the songs are so that when you go to the concert, you can really get that experience. But long story short, I respect your artistry. I want you to feel free to be creative. But we be having our favorite part of the song, and we be wanting to hear that part of the song. This is on behalf of all consumers that show up to your concert. I just wanted to throw that out there for the two people that are going to watch this episode. But you get what I'm saying? Like, we be having our favorite part, and we be needing y'all to sing that so that we can play it back over and over again, just like we played the record over and over again. But we respect you guys' creativity and switching it up, and sometimes the switch up is cool. But I just wanted to throw that out there because it's MILF Ministry, and I'm gonna be talking my shit. So, getting back on track so that I don't talk your ear off on a solo episode, I want to talk about some songs that made me feel safe emotionally after divorce. So after I got divorced, I remember feeling like I'm ready to have sex, but I'm not ready to love nobody. I don't want to have no feelings for them. I don't want them to have no feelings for me. Okay? So my body was horny and my body was ready to move, but I didn't trust myself to navigate feeling love or feeling hurt ever again. That was extreme, but that's just how I felt at that time. So another reason why music is such an important part of MILF Ministry is because as I was listening to music, there are two songs that stood out that kind of made me remember what it felt like to like somebody, to be vulnerable with somebody, to just be excited to be in their presence, to feel safe in their presence. And I want to share both of those with you. They're not new songs. If you've been listening since 2018, you've heard this before. But if you're new in 2025, welcome to my personal taste. So the first song that made me feel kind of safe emotionally was HER Facts. I fell in love with this song in August of 2017. It may sound weird that I remember that, but I love music like I love humans. So I remember meeting songs like I remember meeting people. And not every single song will I have a memory like this, but there are certain songs where I'm either going through something, like in this case, healing from divorce, and the song will just hit you a certain way, and it alters your DNA. Like you're never the same. You're like, oh my gosh, I feel seen, I feel heard, I do want to love again, or I just feel something. Like sometimes it's just you've been walking around numb because you've been in pain, and the song penetrates your soul in such a way that you start to feel something again. So that's another reason why the music is such a powerful part of MILF Ministry and my journey. So I'm driving in the car, driving in Century City, heading to work, and just listening to the lyrics of the song, and I don't, knowing me, I probably started crying. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm a crier. And I'm going to pull up the lyrics because I want to just review them real quick to figure out which one gets my attention. Oh, okay. You're one in a million. Don't let a lot of people in, but you get admission. And I don't let my walls down, but I see us building. And you ain't a feeling because that's how I'm feeling. You make me want to put my phone down. When we're alone, I want to zone out. And I'm like, oh, wow. I don't let my walls down. This is true because, as I just said to you guys, I didn't really feel like loving anybody ever again. But when she said, and you ain't a feeling, because that's how I'm feeling, I'm like, see, now you're getting emotional. And I wasn't supposed to be getting emotional. And now you're making me emotional. But that's the power of music. You know what I mean? That's the power of music. And then she goes on to facts. And I'm not going to play music until I figure out how to do that. But the way the lyrics come and the beat drops and she harmonizes, just go play the song because the chorus is facts. You were the one I was missing, the opposite of fiction, and that's facts. Who was a given? I don't care about opinions, and that's facts. And she's like humming, oh, 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 that's facts. And once again, singing is horrible. Please don't let me ruin the song for you. Go play the song. But the way she's singing and the beat drops and she's, you know, the melody is coming in and harmonizing, and I just kind of got lost in the emotion of it, and I'm just like, I want to be around somebody that makes me want to put my phone down. You know, I want to feel, I guess I want to feel like I don't have any doubts about the person that I'm around. Do you get what I'm saying? So like sonically it was drawing me in, but lyrically I was just like, you know what? It is nice to feel safe in someone's presence and to feel sure in someone's presence and to have that moment where you realize like, wow, you are the person I've been missing. You are the energy that I've been missing. That's a beautiful feeling. I don't care what nobody say. I got the coldest heart. It's funny, but it's not funny. I have a very, very, very cold heart, but something about those words and those lyrics penetrated my heart and reminded me of what it felt like to actually want to hang out with somebody and catch a vibe with somebody and, you know, go to the, I can't even get the words out. Let me take a breath. But go on a date with somebody and hold hands with somebody and put your phone down and enjoy music with somebody, like at a concert or just at home, listening to music together on the couch or just whatever. But like in that moment where the song altered my DNA, it just made me realize that that moment is very special. Identifying that, man, you are the person that my soul has been missing, because human connection is everything. It's the foundation of life, it's the foundation of love, it's the reason we're all here. We're all here. And while I'm thinking of it in the romantic sense, this connection extends outside romantic connection. This could be a friendship connection. This could be finding your divine purpose professionally, of like, you finally realize, like, oh man, you know what? I want to be a race car driver. Oh man, I want to write books. I want to, you know what I'm saying? So that feeling that I'm talking about is a special feeling of, man, you are the purpose that has been missing, or you are the person that's been missing, because we can go to comedy shows together or we can go to brunch together. But also in a romantic way, the song really, really hit me of just like, man, it is nice to have somebody to connect with. Okay, let's move on to the next song. So the next song is Sir, the Canvas. And first of all, I just love Sir, period. He's a Scorpio, so we can just start him in there. Because when it comes to emotions, Scorpios and emotions, go like this. And he does a great job as an artist of getting his raw emotions out, and it sounded amazing. Like, I don't know why he isn't more famous than he is, but I know that he's gifted beyond measure in terms of being able to transmute raw emotion into something beautiful sonically and lyrically. He's phenomenal when it comes to that. So, and once again, that's not everyone's cup of tea. Is not everyone doesn't want to feel like, some people just want to turn up, have fun. And he has those records. He has Life is Good and, Baby, I'm Just Trying to Let My Hair Down. He's got records that turn up, that don't, tug at your heartstrings. But Sir got my attention because The Canvas was one of the first songs that I listened to post divorce, where I was like, oh my gosh, there are men in this world that genuinely love women and appreciate women and are there to love women. And I know it sounds weird to say, because I've seen men love women on TV. In real life, I've been loved before. So it's like, it sounds weird to say, but sometimes heartbreak can make you just question if anything is real and if anything is worth it. And I'll just put it to you like that. So when I got divorced, I was just in a state of disbelief. I didn't need to be there, and I'm glad I got divorced, but there's still this disbelief of like, man, this life that I thought I was going to live is no longer existent. This family that I thought I was going to build is not going to look the way that I thought it was going to look. And so I felt like I was in a state of shock longer than I needed to be, but who am I to say longer than I needed to be? But this song kind of helped to ground me and remind me that real love does exist. And I really like this song because he talks about loving a woman in a non-sexual way. I know this is MILF Ministry. I know that sex is important. But when it comes to feeling safe emotionally, that matters for me sexually. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a long-term relationship. If you're just hooking up, it is what it is. But in a long-term relationship, the lyrics of that song just, yeah. Anyway, let's get to the lyrics instead of me ranting. So, Sir, the Canvas. The lines that really got me is when he's singing, I can see you tired of living with your back against the wall. And I know you're fragile. you might end up breaking if you fall, but I don't want to see you fall apart. Girl, I don't know where to start. You're such a work of art. And the chorus goes on to say, I'm just here to add a little color to the canvas. And I said, you know what, bruh? You about to make me start dating men again. That one song was like, you know what? It's probably a man or two out there that I could be vulnerable with. You know what I'm saying? So thanks, sir. Thanks, sir, because he's probably brought a few women back from not wanting to even date nobody ever again. I promise you. But I thought those lines were so beautiful because as a woman that not only went through divorce, but went through divorce as a mother, I really did feel like so fragile. I didn't trust myself emotionally, which means I didn't trust anybody else, because if you don't trust yourself, how can you trust other people? And so it's very hard to date and be vulnerable and properly connect when you don't even trust yourself. So for the lyrics to say that I can see that you're tired of living with your back against the wall, and I know that you're fragile and you might end up breaking if you fall, it just felt like such, I was like, damn, you love women and you see women, like you really see her as a person. Does that make sense? Because I feel like a lot of women will hear me. You feel seen, but you feel seen as something to be fucked. You feel seen as something to be added to a long list of a booty gallery, a list of women that they've had sex with, a list of just who you get what I'm saying? So I grew up just never being impressed that a man was attracted to me sexually. Like that never, ever really impressed me, because I grew up understanding that men are sexually attracted to women, period. Like it didn't matter if he was rich. It didn't matter if he was famous. It didn't, like, none of that really mattered, because that just didn't do anything for me. I'm just kind of like, yeah, you're attracted to me, but you're also attracted to her. You're attracted. Does that make sense? Like, that didn't make me feel special, the fact that someone was sexually attracted to me. So listening to these lyrics and going back to these lyrics, this to me is a non-sexual communication to a woman that I've seen that you've been through some things, and I understand how fragile you may feel, and I understand that any kind of heartbreak or any kind of foolishness will make you feel like you can just literally crack into multiple pieces, because you have been hurt before. I can see that. And I'm just here to add a little color, because you're already beautiful. You're already a canvas. Despite feeling fragile, you're still art. You see what I'm saying? And he's just here to add a little color. He's here to add a little joy, to add a few orgasms, to add some date nights. And I'm just like, oh, I can rock with that. So long story short, or short story long, because that's me, I'm short story long. This song altered my DNA. It altered my DNA. It helped me to see men differently, if that makes sense. So it helped me to feel seen, but it also helped me to see men differently. Like, you know what? There are going to be more men. If this one man can make this one song, there are more men that see women as full human beings, as emotional beings, as people that need emotional security. And I appreciate that song and what it did for my healing journey and my MILF hood, so to speak. So, yeah, this is why, as I said to you earlier, We can talk about music all day, every day, because it's so connected to my journey. But I just love music in general, and we'll talk about music from my childhood and all kind of stuff as we go on through the show. And we'll close this episode out, because it is a MILF Ministry, by talking about, I don't know what I'm going to name this frequency. I've called it the clippity clap frequency, but to me personally, it's like this honey dripping, tingly frequency, so to speak. Typically, I feel like I tap into it sonically. Sometimes someone's lyrics can get my attention, but lyrics are kind of easy, because, someone can just say something and you're like, ooh, that sounds sexy. But sonically, there are some things that just sounds like really good sex. I don't know how to describe it. But if you're having really good sex, you know what I'm talking about. That's all I can say. If you're having really good sex, I feel like you can listen to something and be like, ooh, now they was having some really good sex. Or this was inspired by some really good sex. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. Anyway, as we go through my playlist, you'll start to catch my drift. So I'm going to start with a very obvious song. The song is called Tank Sexy. It's produced by Cardiac, I think. I hope that's your full name, but he wasn't even really trying to produce R&B records. And that's what I love about the beautiful energy of music. That this record that I think is so sexy wasn't even supposed to exist. But Tank, being the music person that he is, I don't know how he found out about his music, but he must have heard a rap song that he did for somebody, or just maybe they know each other musically. Either way, Tank gets a hold of some records, and the album Savage becomes what it is. And I think Cardiac also did When We, which basically changed the trajectory of Tank's career. So When We changed the trajectory of his career, went number one, put Tank, back up here musically on the R&B charts. But I really like Sexy. Sexy was not an official single, but that's my record. Okay? That record, sonically, is a tingly record. Lyrically, is a tingly record. And we can get into some of those lyrics. So let's pull up Tank Sexy. And to be clear, the lyrics really don't give it justice, because you got to hear Tank sing it his way, and you got to hear the music to really, really understand what I'm talking about. I still remember a really great orgasm off of this one record. So, yeah, I'll just leave you with that. But he starts the record off saying, I've been thinking about you all day, thinking about you, feel like foreplay, I'ma do whatever you say, sexy. You already have my attention, because you said you're going to do whatever I say, which means you're going to please me. And this is very empowering for a woman that knows what she needs to be pleased. It's also empowering for a woman that doesn't know what she needs, because what I hear in this record is that even if you don't know what you need to have a great orgasm or to be pleased, he's still going to do whatever you say. So just communicate. That feels good. That doesn't feel good. Slow down. Speed up. Softer. Harder. You get where I'm going? So if you get in a bedroom with a man that's going to do whatever you say, you should be able to get what you need. And that's sexy to me. Okay? So whenever you get a chance, pull up some of the records that we talked about today. I'll figure out a way how to, maybe put the captions or something so that you can reference the songs I've been talking about. I have to do some research to find out how much of the clips I can play. I'm This is all a very new journey for me. But because I love music so much, I literally only talked about 3 songs and I've already been talking for like 45 minutes. So this is why when I have a solo episode, I'll try to stick to music because I love it. I'm excited. I'll have stories around it. And I'm really, really, really excited to be able to do this live so that we can engage. And like I said, you all can tell me your music memories. You can tell me what songs mean to you. And I can just have fun being myself because, as I said, we can talk about music all day. And this is also a precursor to 2 music things that I want to do. So I have an online music show that I want to do. I don't even know if I'm going to separate it from the podcast at this point, but I definitely have a show that I want to do with background singers at minimum. Okay, that's part 1. And part of it can be online, but I think it'll be really fun to be done live in person. Like, I love listening to music live with humans that are playing instruments. And I think that my daughter's generation, what are they, Gen Z? I don't even know what they're called. The kids, the children, anybody under 50, under 18. I think that generation really needs to get reacquainted with what live music sounds like and that very special magic of what it feels like in your spirit to hear live music, to hear live singing, because there's an emotion that the phone will never be able to duplicate that. It just can't. You could watch someone perform live and kind of feel that energy and get excited, and it's cute. Like, for example, we watched the Kendrick live Juneteenth. That was fun, but nothing will replace being in the stadium and feeling that energy. And I've taken my daughter to see live shows before, and like as I said, she's seen Masego live. She's gone to she's seen D Smoke, and we went to a block party, a Adams block party, so we saw D Smoke and even some older acts like Arrested Development, and she loved it. At first, she was like, "Who was Arrested Development?" I'm like, "Just listen." But they were lit. They came on with the African drumming and the dancing, and they were spitting bars, and she just had a good time. And I think so many people under 18, their whole life will change once they start to hear live music, live instruments, live singing. And I really want to do a better job of meeting them where they are. So, yes, we can have them hear some 90s R&B live, but we can also have them hear some music that they like live, because I'm more excited about them tapping into the energy of what it sounds like to hear everything live versus the song, if that makes sense. Like, I just want them to get acquainted with what live music sounds like and how special it is to be in a room or in a crowd enjoying live music and live singing together, and the singers are singing their ass off and the musicians are playing their ass off. And it's just something so special about being in a room with people that really love music. You know what I'm saying? The bass player loves playing bass. The piano player loves playing piano. The background singers love singing. It's unmatched, man. Nothing, like I said, our phones will never be able to create that energy. The television will never really be able to create that energy, because part of it is just a synergy of being in the presence of them enjoying what they're doing, being in the presence of other people that are enjoying what it is, you feeling what the music is doing for you and your spirit, but you also witnessing what it's doing for other people in the crowd. Is something so beautiful about all of that synergy. And it's very African because it's one of our oldest ways to celebrate and one of our oldest ways to communicate. You got to think, people been drumming and clapping and singing and just living life for thousands of years. This has been a way to celebrate. So without going down any more tangents, my name is Ayodele, and I'm the host of MILF Ministry podcast. And this was a solo episode today where we're talking about some of my first musical memories and some music that really stood out to me, some love songs that stood out to me, and their connection to me in my childhood, their connection to me on my journey to creating MILF Ministry, and just life in general. And as I said earlier, and in some other clips, when I have solo episodes, we'll spend time talking about music. There may be times where there's something going on that I really want to talk about, whether it's a comedy project I'm working on or just something that's trending. From time to time, I may talk about that. But I really want to talk about the things that matter to me the most. And music is one of the things that matter to me in this world the most. And it is connected to my joy, it's connected to my orgasms, is connected to everything. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, please comment, please share the episode, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I need to start doing and saying that more. Please subscribe if you're listening to this on what is it, Apple, Spotify. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. And yeah, thank you for spending some time with me today as we talk about music. One of my favorite things in the world that's connected to MILF Ministry. MILF Ministry. But yes, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you have a great day. And let me know your thoughts on some of the music I shared. And let me know some of your favorite music moments as well.